right, so for this day, we'll be talking about types of communicative strategy. And although there are, not mistaken, there are six in your modules, there are six communicative strategy in your module. And will be, no, it's seven communicative strategy, or six, only six in your module. And for this day, we are going to discuss three of them. All right. So three of the communicative strategy. So namely, I can already read it in your screen that three communicative strategy. We have nomination, restriction, and turn taking. And let's just give a few minutes for your classmates to view our live stream so they can so that we can start with them. Okay. All right. So Claire Ann Libores, so present. Hey, good afternoon. And Diane Fabular Staños. Alright, so without further ado, huwag na natin patagalin. The types of communicative strategy are those three. And the next communicative strategies will be discussed next Tuesday. But before that, let us review last time or the last discussion, which was speech acts. So, you still remember, it was said that each time you speak, you are actually doing something. That's why there is such thing as a speech act. Kaya merong speech acts because you speak, because we speak. And that can be considered as we're already doing something. That's why it's called speech act. That is, you are performing an action. There are three types of speech act. If you could remember, kasama to sa naging online exam nyo, which was the three types of speech acts was locution, illocution, at amperlocution, right? And for now, we are going to discuss about types of communicative strategy. Allow me to read. Communication strategy is a plan of action or a technique that the communicator uses in order to help make the communication process successful. So do not get this sentence wrong. Uh, Even us, which are common people, we are communicators, di ba? Nakikipag-usap tayo. That's why we considered ourselves as communicator. Every time we speak, we have this plan. So, sabihin lang natin, not we're not too conscious about it, but we do have a plan before we speak to someone, di ba? We have this technique. That's why for this day, we are going to talk about those techniques or strategy as we speak. Okay, before we speak, as we are speaking, okay, while we're speaking, uh, that's why this is a very important topic, right? So we as a communicator uses this strategy in order to help make the communication process successful. There are many different communication strategies, among which are nomination, restriction, turn taking. Okay, these three will be discussed for today. Nomination, restriction, and turn taking. We have topic control, topic shifting, repair, and termination. Those are the types of communicative strategy. All right. So for this time, we're going to discuss about nomination and restriction. Okay, take note of this. A nomination and restriction. Although you have your modules with you, but there are some differences when it comes to how it was being defined in your module and in this live stream. All right, so nomination and restriction. How is it different from each other? So nomination refers to the act of the speaker, wherein he or she opens, all right, he or she opens, we fix first our screen. Hindi nyo nakikita. Yun na lang napansin. All right. All right. So the difference of nomination, the restriction. Okay. That's it. So nomination and restriction. So nomination refers to the act of the speaker wherein he or she opens and establishes a topic in the conversation or discussion. Ano pong example niya? The example po ng nomination is, you have it in your module. Allow me to read para naman nang sa ganon, meron po kayong handouts dyan. So, example, you could say, have you heard about the new normal? Di ba? You open a topic. Ikaw yung nag-open ng topic. Kaya nomination po yung tawag dyan. Okay, let's just say, pwede mo rin sabihin, I saw your TikTok post on Facebook. It's really great. Nomination pa rin. As long as you were the one uh, initiating or starting a topic, your strategy, the strategy being applied there as communicator is called nomination. Okay? Nomination po yung ginagamit. However, kapag sinabi natin restriction, it refers to the act of limiting what the participants can contribute to the conversation or discussion. Yung kanina, yung nomination, ikaw yung gumagawa ng topic. But in restriction, ikaw po yung nagli-limit ng kung ano lang ang pag-uusapan. We have that in your module, example po niya. Say in your class, you might be asked by your teacher to brainstorm on peer pressure or deliver a speech on digital natives. In this case, you cannot decide to talk about something else. Okay, for example, ako teacher nyo. Bibigyan ko kayo ng topic para gumawa ng essay. So there is a restriction there. So hindi kayo pwedeng gumawa ng ng essay na gamit ang ibang topic because I give you restriction, right? Even in conversation, kapag binibigyan ng limit yung nag-uusap, so there is the so-called communicative strategy restriction. All right? So yun po yung kaibahan ng nomination and restriction. Nomination, you open a topic, and restriction, you limit the topic. Okay? Or you limit uh, what is being discussed in a particular conversation. Right? So that is the difference of nomination and restriction. I hope that's clear. And update ko lang, no? So thank you very much. So we have Risa Fortaleza Zamora from Madison. And we have also Gemma Molave Soreño. Right? Okay. So let us continue. So there are two factors to consider for nomination and restriction. Have social relationships and environment. So dalawa po ang mga factors na dapat po nating i-consider kapag gumagamit tayo ng nomination and restriction. Either of these two, kinakailangan po i-consider natin yung nomination and restriction. You can understand later on. First is yung social relationship. Kailangan po natin i-consider yan kapag gagamit po tayo ng communicative strategy known as nomination and restriction. Social relationships, by the way, determine the specific role of the participants, which is a factor for whether they can nominate topics or restrict what other speakers can say in the conversation. Roles are classified as higher authorities. This refer to those who are assigned to control the flow of the conversation, and lower authorities refer to the participants who start as listeners and are then nominated to be speakers when called on by the higher authorities. So, ganito lang po, para mas simple. Yung higher authorities, sila po yung merong karapatang mag-restrict or mag-nominate ng topics. Let's just say for a meeting, in a meeting, yun pong president nyo ng organization, siya po yung nagbibigay ng restriction. Only when the higher authority, which is the president, only when he or she says na, oh, mag-nominate kayo, tsaka pa lang maaaring magkaroon kayo ng karapatan na mag-nominate. Okay? Because he is or she is the higher authority. Okay? The higher authorities, take note, control the flow of the conversation. Siya po yung nagko-control ng pag-uusap o ng buong meeting. Right? And the lower authorities, sila po yung mga participants lang po. Okay? They are the listeners, and then pwede silang mag-nominate ng topic kung binibigyan po sila ng patnugot or authorization ng higher. I hope that's clear. So that's about the two classification of social or two classification of roles when it comes to using this communicative strategy nomination and restriction. That is, of course, under social relations. All right, and we have environment. So refers to the setting of the conversation. It also determines the roles of the speaker. Siyempre, kailangan po natin i-consider sa paggamit po natin ng strategy, yung communicative strategy, which is nomination and restriction, kailangan po natin consider itong environment, okay? Yung kapaligiran. Not necessarily yung puno o yung mga ibon, not necessarily na gano'n. We need to consider kung hmm, kung at ang conversation ba is a one-on-one communication or group communication, right? So, kailangan po natin consider yan. Let's just say one-on-one communication. This refers to the communication situations in which there are only two participants. Okay? There are only two participants. So, bakit kailangan natin i-consider kapag merong one-on-one communication and group communication? Let us read this group communication. This refers to the communication situations in which there are more than two participants. So bakit ba kailangan nating i-consider ang um, environment sa paggamit natin ng ating communicative strategy, which is nomination and restriction? So try to think about it. Hmm? So let's see kung meron kayong mga idea. So feel free to comment that in our comment section. Sige nga. Bakit? Hmm? 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 Okay, for example, sa one-on-one communication, in tutorial, the tutor may start a discussion. Sabihin na lang natin may tutor. Then magdi-discuss siya by asking the student questions regarding his or her lessons and what he or she needs help with. Once the tutor is done asking the question, the student is or can then answer. Because the tutor already asked questions, the student is then restricted to addressing those particular questions. Okay? Kaya kailangan po nating i-consider, okay, kung one-on-one communication ba or hindi. Right? Because, of course, kung kung magiging abusive ka, sabihin na natin powers mo sa paggamit ng nomination and restriction, it can also lead to unsuccessful communication. Okay? For example, sa group communication, in a panel discussion, kasi marami yan. For example, there is a moderator who is tasked with facilitating the discussion, which involves nominating the topic and restricting participants. Okay, yun sa group communication. All right, so let us proceed to the next slide, which will be about. So we're done with nomination and restriction, and we are going to discuss about turn take. Okay, so turn taking. So let me give you time to read the slide. Okay, so turn taking, and what is the relation of this word turn taking? Okay.
Ayo, maing
So yun na nga
hapon.
guys.
Ay,
All right, sige. Because at the end of this lesson, I'm preparing also a video na i-identify nyo kung anong communicative strategy yung hindi ginagamit. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video, and then also be prepared because I'm going to give you questions and so answer it. Okay, so kaya makinig po tayo. Right? So now let us read about um, let's read about this turn taking. Okay, so turn refers to the opportunity given to a speaker to talk, whereas turn taking is a process in which a participant stops speaking and yields the floor to another participant so he or she can speak. Okay? Yun po yung turn taking. So, pag sinabing, turn mo na, ikaw na. Turn mo na. So, ibig sabihin, ikaw na yung binibigyan ng chance na makapagsalita. That is turn when it comes to communication. Kapag sinabing turn taking, ito yung process na kung saan yung isang participant, hihinto na po siya sa pagsasalita at bibigyan niya po yung chance sa ibang tao upang makapagsalita po yung turn taking. Okay? That is about turn taking. Okay, so Jess Amanes, good afternoon. So Johnny Evangelista and Janice Laceda. Alright, so very good students. Baba itong mga students ko and very active when it comes to the discussion. Alright, so let us proceed to the next slide. Okay, so there are 3 turn-taking acts. Meron pong tatlong uri ng turn or turn-taking. Okay, we have the skip turn, we have release turn, and we have take turn. Okay, skip turn, release turn, take turn. Right? So yung keep turn suggests that a speaker must not stop until he fulfills his purpose in a conversation. I think hindi po, wala po ito sa module. So, turn taking. Yes, you don't have the skip turn, release turn, and take turn. And this might be included in your entrance exam if you go to college someday. So, take note of this kasi wala to sa module. So keep turn, kapag sinabing keep turn, again, suggests that the speaker must not stop until he fulfills his purpose and conversation. Ito yung turn mo na hindi mo pa talaga ibibigay sa iba yung pagkakataon upang makapagsalita. That is keep turn. Kapag sinabing release turn, so yung kanina yung keep turn, hindi mo pa nire-release yung karapatan mong magsalita. So keep ka pa, kinikip mo pa yung turn mo, yung torno mo. Okay, but when it comes to release turn, we're now suggesting that a speaker is finished talking and is ready to yield the floor to another person to take his or her turn. He or she may use signals or pauses in a conversation. Kapag ikaw ay gusto mo nang gamitin itong tinatawag na release turn, pwedeng, kasi itong release turn, ito yung pagkakataon na gusto mong ipaalam sa kanila na tapos ka nang magsalita and now you are about to give your turn or your privilege na magsalita. Gusto mo nang i-release yung turn mo na iba naman yung pagsasalitain mo. So, you can use in this particular situation yung mga signals na nagpo-pause ka and you may gesture na you can use your hand. Pwedeng turo mo yung susunod na magsasalita. That is release turn. And for take turn, this turn taking act suggests that another participants can take the role of the speaker. Ito na yung pagkakataon na kung saan yung another participant will now take the role. Ikaw yung speaker, yung participant ay lalapit na sa'yo para kuanin ang pagkakataon na magsalita. So those are the 3 turn-taking acts under turn taking. Sana naman po ay malinaw at hindi po kayo naguguluhan. If you have any questions, confusions, then you can ask me. Comment that or you can message me, my messenger.